Welcome, Pisces, to your very first monthly reading. This is something I've been meaning to start for a while, and I'm excited to see what evolves over time. So, I hope you enjoy it. I do want to say that this reading is for entertainment purposes. You are responsible for every decision in your own life. So, if there's an area in your life that you should seek professional help, be it a doctor or a psychologist or a dietitian, whatever it may be, maybe even a lawyer, maybe that's coming up for someone. But yeah, please find people who are professionals that can help you in your life. I will not be held liable for the decisions you make, okay? I even gave you a little nudge there with the camera. So, let's begin. I do love water signs quite a bit. Oh boy. This happened before. There's something... I think it's because there's like a lot of things happening right now where like so much of what we planned is just not really coming together. It's having a hard time coming together. Some things are coming together. There's definitely been a lot of roadblocks. I mean, Mercury retrograde. This has been a doozy. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So let's see what's going on. Let's see what good things we have to tell you for November, Pisces. Okay. Ooh. So you've got the Lovers that came out with these two cards, the King of Coins and the Page of Wands. Cool images too. Now the Lovers are usually, yes, it can be about love, but it's also about making choices, right? Kind of mastering the ego and being like, actually, you know what, this decision that I keep making or have a tendency to make is actually not serving my progress in life, my making my happiness come true, creating more peace, love, prosperity, fun. So, something about choices here. You've got the King of Coins, which is very much about money on your mind, and then you've got the Page of Wands, so then we've got the passions coming into and maybe feeling a little immature about your passions. For some of you, it could be, oh man, did some of you marry for money and you're learning hard lessons? Maybe. That's definitely not all of you. Oh my god. Definitely not for all of you. But I'd say more of what I'm seeing here is that you're having to make a choice about your money and if it's in alignment with your passions, or if there's a way that you can make it more in alignment with your passions, and be more playful with it. I feel like there's some sort of breakthrough happening with this full moon for you, which is, I mean, because that's on the King of Coins there. You've got the turtle, you've got the full moon, and you've got like this whole tree growing on its back, you know? But then the Five of Wands came out. So there's, yeah. And then I was talking about maybe some things having a hard time coming together. And this is kind of battling other people's opinions, your own self-talk, your own limiting beliefs, other people's limiting beliefs, and people just kind of generally not agreeing with how things should be done. Everyone's like, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. So, and you know, maybe this is actually multiple people fighting over you. That would be cool. I mean, unless they're actually fighting, that's not cool. Unless it's like, you know, sanctioned and whatnot. So, all right. The Hangman, which came out in reverse, like actually came out this way. So I'm going to read this because I feel like a lot of things have been turned on their heads, and like we're learning to see the world in a whole new way. And maybe you're kind of getting a little bit more comfortable with that idea. And being like, okay, like, I accept where we are at. There's what's done is done. Like, how can I grow from this? And finding your zen and being like, how can I work my magic here? How can I bring my passions to the surface? And then I feel like this is, maybe you're hanging from this tree, you know? And maybe the money that you have, or maybe what you've worked towards, or someone in your life who's very stable, is helping with finding this zen. Or maybe you just, if you don't have that, then this is an energy that we can focus on for manifestation techniques. Like, you don't always want to look where you don't want to look where you don't want to go. So when you're skiing or snowboarding, they say, look where you want to go, because otherwise you have a tendency to like ski right into the obstacle that you were trying to avoid. And manifestation's kind of like that. Yes, it's not about putting your head in the sand and ignoring the problem. It's just taking some time out every once in a while to focus on what you actually do want to create. Regardless of the circumstances. Oh, I'm ringing the bell for you. Yeah, and you know, every rose has its thorn, right? But still, you're still at peace, and you can, and I'm getting that you have to be the center of your own peace. You have to take responsibility for creating your own peace, controlling your mind, and learning ways to stay calm in the face of adversity, in the face of injustice. There's a time and a place to use our anger. I'm thinking of Aikido for some reason, because Aikido, it's very much about using the force of anger that someone is projecting towards you, and softening, right? And diffusing the energy and diffusing the situation without harming the person coming at you with this, you know. So it's kind of like that, and that's not easy. That's not easy. It takes practice, and you're not, unless you're already really good at it. But for most people, and I know for myself, like, there's times when I am super tested. Emotions are high, and there's a lot going on that can be stressed about, right? There's a lot. And we're always at choice of how we want to react. We're always at choice of how we want to react. Which way? Are we going to go the dark dragon, brimstone fire? Are we going to go like, all right, I'm going to choose the love thing? And because that helps calm the beast when we do that. Even the beast is like, all right, cool. I kind of like your snugs. I like that. And then I love how it's backed up by this Two of Swords. And she has her eyes closed. She has her arms crossed in front of her, and she's focused. She's focused. And to me, this usually speaks of like a rite of passage, almost like a shamanic test. Can you focus enough on what it is that you do want enough to let it manifest around you? Can you block out with the fire and brimstone around you enough to help call in this new beginning, this new peace? Improved peace, improved justice, more communication, all of those good things. But you're being tested, and you kind of gotta just hold your center and keep the peace as much as you possibly can. Like when I'm looking at this, it's almost like all those cool movies and times when they're showing that the warrior is actually envisioning the battle in their minds. And most of it is done in their minds, and then at one point they're just so in touch with the flow, they know the moment that they need to move in a certain direction and swing a sword or their weapon in a certain way, or go to diffuse the situation in a certain way. But it's very much about being at one with the force, and that happens a lot by meditating. This is what we're seeing. This is what I saw here in this Hangman card. You meditate in this chaos, and you'll find your center. It'll help quite a bit, and it will help others around you, because then you're not contributing to the problem, right? You're saying, okay, this toxic thing can stop here. I'm not going to go out and spread the same thing. Then we have the Nine of Swords, which is kind of about being worried, but like because of all the messages before, I'm also seeing this as like you being able to rise above it all mentally. And swords are very much about mental things, thoughts, knowledge, deep thinking. And I'm seeing that this is, yes, there is worry. There's plenty to be worried about, but that doesn't really serve anything. It's good to be aware, but we also need to spend time being optimistic and focusing on where do we want to go? What do we actually want to bring in, right? Going back to this. And even in meditating, even for myself, there's times where like I'm calm, I'm cool, and then all of a sudden I think of something and it's like, oh God, a little bit of worry, but then it's just you feel it out, you let it come through, and then you just, if there's anything to learn from it, if there's any more wisdom you can gain from it, great, but we don't dwell on it, and then we go back to focusing on meditating and like just letting those thoughts just pass by. You don't have to analyze in meditation, and you know, I found one of the most effective ways for meditating for me was actually like doing Qigong. Maybe look up microcosmic orbit, because if you're used to maybe being really active with your mind, if especially if you're like super genius, like sometimes, or ADHD, which I think is just a form of genius, depending upon who you are, of course, and what's going on, and what substances are around, and toxins and blah. Okay, I digress. So, I don't even know where I was going, but, okay, I remember. So having something to focus on, like moving the actual energy in your body, it's like, oh, mind, now you can't just wander off onto all these other things. Like, you can actually focus on this. And the Qigong is just, I've gotten into some of the deepest meditations where I was like just straight up in space, nothing around, and I was like, what? This is wild. It's pretty cool. All kinds of good stuff in Qigong. Also had some very interesting things happen with tree pose. So maybe look into that. I normally don't talk about these things, but I guess maybe look into it. Yeah, the towers are falling around you. Ah. And it's causing you to be very much open-minded. What can you do? There's only so much that we can do in these situations, right? That's why we gotta find our center and try not to worry too much and rise above as much as we can. You know, we have to try to keep each other strong mentally, emotionally, and of course physically through this as much as possible. Man, I just love humans. I love nature. I love animals. I love life, and I know that it can be so amazing for everyone, and we're having to find new ways of bringing this in. And what I'm hearing is some of these things falling, it's for the best. It's just, it's always darkest before the dawn. It's always darkest before the dawn. And I think it's interesting that in this tower they're like falling into all these spiky thorns. And then here, Hangman, all up in these thorns. Chilling. Finding your center. Finding your zen. Gonna work that genius is what I'm hearing. If you can get into the vortex, which is what the Fool energy is about, just being open. Look at the beautiful koi fish there. At least I'm seeing them as koi fish. Maybe you have a thing with mermaids. I mean, you are Pisces, so the water's very healing. Yeah, just get back to who you are. I really enjoy and recommend salt baths, showers, and just with the intention of like purifying any negative energies, any limiting beliefs, any limiting patterns or habits. Like, don't get so caught up in what you have going on that you don't see that there is some potential to grow here beyond anything that you've ever known and everything that you've already built. There's so much more possible. You just got to open your mind up a little bit, break through some of these mental barriers with this Ace of Swords and really bring it into fruition. You can do this. You have everything that you need, you know, and this Ace of Swords is usually about things really beginning to take root. Using that inspiration, your skills, your warrior senses to make some really big changes and to break free from karmic traps, you know, the tower, all those things. And on the bottom of the deck is this Eight of Swords, and so this is usually speaking about feeling, because of all the blows that have come, you know, all of the different things that have happened, it's just like, it kind of makes you feel boxed in, and like you can't have the things that you actually want in life. You can't have that success and prosperity or that person or well, don't try to focus on one person, okay? We don't want to mess with free will. But like, maybe it's just about a type of loving relationship that you're wanting, or, and that's not for everyone. Some of you may already be in very wonderful, loving relationships, but you know, this year's been blow after blow after blow. I mean, these are really hard circumstances. However, you're a genius. And when you start to see things, when you get more into this, getting comfortable in this hanged man position, right? You'll find your center and you'll be like, you know what? I can get up and walk out of this cave and take off this jackass that I'm wearing. That it's like, it's almost like other people told you you're a jackass kind of vibe, or like maybe that's your self-talk, you know, like it's just not true. You're not a jackass. You're amazing. You're a genius, and you too deserve to live here and have this. Maybe you want to build your own, you know, or maybe it's just, you can have it, but like so much of this is about breaking free of your own mental limitations about what can happen, and that can be extra hard when everyone around you or some people around you just don't have that optimism, or don't know, have never heard about like manifestation techniques and focusing on where you do want to go regardless of circumstances. Yeah, mind over matter. Mind over matter. I mean, yeah. let's see. Let's get into this mystical shaman oracle book, because oracle deck, excuse me. I read the word book at the same time. But this deck always gives me the goods. And the other deck that I was using is called the Oracle, or the Tarot of the Divine. If you're interested. And I will link the decks in the description. Ooh, 2 cards. The Circle and the Blade. Yeah, I'm seeing this as just like breaking free of karmic cycles. And that we already had the Ace of Swords. But it's the same deal. And it's so much about breaking free of these mental traps. You know, like everyone leaves an imprint in your life, the way they perceive you, the way you perceive others, the way you perceive yourself. All of these things, they leave an imprint. And you can choose to break free of them at any time by using your mental abilities and being like, you know what, I can break free of this, or this doesn't belong. Slowly breaking free of this net, you know, and just like busting through these blocks. And I am seeing these 3 gems on there for some reason. I love the number 3. Actually, there's 5 gems on there, but there's like 3 of these like emeraldy looking ones, and then 2 rubies. And 5s are all about change, so I guess that's why we wanted to bring it up. And you can even see how like there's like the ivy branches growing from this. I mean, just little signs. Anyways, you got this. You got this. Cards number 6, number 8. Powerful. You know, and 6 in the major arcana is the Lover's card. It's all about choice. We already had, didn't we have? We did that. Yep. So the choice is yours. How you choose to act. Are you gonna do this side, or are you gonna do this side? Are you gonna do the dragon, or are you gonna do the angel, or the fairy, or the chill zen lady? Which calms the beast. And there's a lot that we can learn from our shadow side, from our dragon. We can learn a lot. So spend some time meditating. I guess that's what I came here to tell you today. If that's something that you've been hearing a lot, this is just more confirmation. And if not, I hope that this maybe inspires you and helps. And if you enjoyed this reading, please like and subscribe, share with your friends. And I wish you well. Thank you.